Suppliers are always eager to have customers utilize their design work. However, customers don't typically need a lot of the internal detail of the design, in addition to which suppliers don't want to give away the intellectual property rights. So to make it a bit easier for suppliers to share their content, we've implemented the Defeature tool in SolidWorks 2011. What Defeature does is allows us to automatically remove levels of detail of the internal design very quickly and efficiently. And that can do several things. It can remove intellectual property, but also simplify the model and reduce the overhead. We've got lots of options to pick and choose from. We can reduce the components based on their size, just take away all the internal components, or actually specifically select components to keep or remove. One thing though that is unique to SolidWorks is the ability to preserve assembly motion. So we can come in here and select several of the components and group them together. So we're going to group the casing elements. We want to do the input shaft as a separate component, and then the output shaft. What SolidWorks will do is actually preserve the mate relationships between those components to give us the movement as well as the visualization. Something else we can do is individually specify we want to preserve certain features. For example, these mounting holes are very important to be able to hook up the gearbox to our system. And then what SolidWorks will do is go through and, based on our selections, in this case remove the internal components which are enclosed within the geometry, as well as ensure that we preserve those features that we've selected. It only takes a couple of seconds, but it does a very efficient job of cleaning out a lot of the detail that's unnecessary. We still preserve a lot of the external detail because that helps give you visual information about what it looks like and make sure it fits into your design environment. So you can see here we have our detailed model and then the simplified model on the right. And we can even do section cuts through the models to compare them. So you'll see very quickly that there's a lot of detail that's been cleaned out inside. It's all completely solid in the internal. But we do have our three components, the input, output shafts, and the casings. Alright, we have several options. We can just save our settings for how we want to dump it out. We can immediately publish our model to 3D Content Central so we can make it available, as well as we can save the file out as an external file as well. So we'll do that and update our simplified design. And because it's parametric, we can go back at any time and modify our settings to output the model. So we have our Defeature object up here. If we want to go and output a new one, we can just go and edit the feature. And you can see here we can also right click and post it to 3D Content Central as well. Let's take a quick look at our defeatured model. You can see if we grab the input shaft, the output shaft rotates accordingly, so you can see that we have our mate relationships preserved. And as we saw before, it's a solid model inside, so it's very efficient and reduces the file size, so makes it easier for customers to take advantage of that to ensure that it's going to fit into their design, or they can build around it very efficiently. So that's Defeature in 2011.